The Negotiable Instruments Law is one of the oldest laws we have in place in our country. Much of it has been practically legislated out of existence. It pertains to a time when commerce was usually done through vessels. There have been proposals to take it out of the coverage of the bar exams, and I'm really looking forward to a time when you won't have to take this course. Mahirap ang nego, kapatid, because the law is very difficult to visualize. It is largely obsolete and it's very difficult to translate it to terms that a sophomore in law school is likely to understand. Mahirap din minsan ang nego dahil na rin sa mga professors natin. The experts we have here are old and the way they explain the law has not been updated for decades. Bumagsak ako ng nego, kapatid, 68 ang final grade ko. Ulit lang. Bagsak ako. This is why I need you to sit up and listen. Kailangan pumasa ka dito ng take 1 lang. Here's what to expect in law school for Negotiable Instruments Law. Coming right up. This episode is brought to you by the Lex in Motion merch store, where the perks and perils of being a law student through graphic tees and statement shirts help us help others more now and in the future. Even better, make a direct donation to the charities we support. Both links in the description below. Hi, my name is Lex and welcome to Lex in Motion. In this channel, I'll be helping you build your competence, confidence, and capability in law school. Start today by hitting the subscribe button below. New episodes are posted every Friday. The Negotiable Instrument Law is part of the bar subject of commercial law. The commercial law exam is usually on the third Sunday of the bar. Many law schools have moved to have it removed because of the 3 units of legal education where there is usually only one question, minsan 2 tanong lang sa bar. The Negotiable Instruments Law is taken on the first or second semester of your sophomore year in law school. The primary law you're going to study is the Negotiable Instruments Law. It's found under Act number 2031. It became a law on February 3, 1911. Happy birthday, Negotiable Instruments Law. The way the subject is taught is through the usual textbook, cases, at recitation. Minsan, marami ring digest. Maraming dapat i-memorize dito, kapatid, dapat verbatim. Kasi yun ang pinaka-eleganteng pagkakasaad ng batas. This is one of the many things you have to keep in mind if you want to take your law school game to the next level. Meron tayong previous episode on how to take law school exams like a barista. And I'll leave a link to that in the description below. For reference, my recommendation is to always wait for the required or assigned textbook by your professor. Some of them will recommend the books I'll tell you in a minute, or some of them will prescribe an obscure, sobrang lumang book from the 70s and 80s at pahirapan na lang talagang hanapin. My personal recommendation is the Book of Aquino on Negotiable Instruments Law and Banking Laws. Second place, the Book of Dean Abad. And third place, the Book of De Leon and De Leon. The best way to learn negotiable instrument law is to first think of instruments in general. Pakiramdam ko, kapatid, na kung sana ganito na ituro sa akin ng nego, mas madali ko siyang maiintindihan. If you're a legal management student or an accountant, please pause this video and share kahit 2 sentences lang kung paano itinuro sa inyo ang Negotiable Instruments Law. Imagine that this box contains all of the possible combinations of instruments. Instruments here does not mean musical instruments or medical instruments. Imagine na nasa loob ng box na to ay ang listahan ng mga commercial documents in general. Let's make some examples. Naalala mo ba, kapatid, nung high school ka, minsan hindi ka pabayad ng tuition mo pero periodical exam na? Pero short ng parents mo kaya papapasukin ka nila na may dalang sulat na ang nilalaman ng handwritten note nila ay I promise to pay the tuition fee of my daughter on or before September 30, 2002. Isa pang halimbawa, nung lumipat ka sa Maynila at nagrent ka ng maliit na kondo, isa sa mga standard requirements ng mga owners ng apartment or kondo ay ang mga post-dated checks or PDC na nakapangalan sa kanila. Advance ang date ng mga checks na to, usually good for the entire year or duration ng lease mo ng kondo. When the law speaks of negotiability, it means in layman's terms transferability. Meaning, pwedeng magpalipat-lipat ng kamay ang mga instruments na yan within the conditions and parameters set by law. In other words, lahat ng instruments ay nahahati sa negotiable and non-negotiable instruments. When an instrument is not negotiable, it may be transferred to another person using another instrument. It can be transferred to another person through a deed of assignment or deed of transfer or other deeds that convey effective ownership. When an instrument is negotiable, it can be transferred to another person through the instrument itself. There is no need to execute another document. Isang step lang. Pwede na siyang malipat nang iaabot mo lang. And I'll explain more of this later. The way the law defines this is that there are two kinds of negotiable instruments. We have the negotiable promissory note and the negotiable bill of exchange. The law also gives us a unique kind of bill of exchange and it's called a check. All other instruments are non-negotiable instruments. Huwag na huwag ka munang magpapalito, kapatid. Yan na muna ang iyong tatandaan. According to Section 1 of the Negotiable Instruments Law, a negotiable promissory note is an unconditional promise to pay a sum certain in money. This promise must be in writing and signed by the maker of this promise. It may be made payable to the bearer of the promissory note or to his order. It must be payable upon demand or at a fixed, determinable future time. This definition teaches us many things, kapatid. Una, ang promissory note ay unconditional promise. Ibig sabihin, kapag binalik sa akin ang promissory note, babayaran ko siya. Walang tanong, walang conditions. Hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na, ay next week na lang bro. Short kasi ako. Hindi ko rin pwedeng sabihin na next week na lang sis sa susunod na sweldo. Promise. Second, this promissory note must be in writing. Pwedeng sulat kamay, pwedeng typewritten. Writing also means it can be printed from a computer or some other means. Dapat ba A4 lang ang pagpiprintan? Pwede bang tarpaulin? Sure kapatid, pwede yan. Basta in writing and more importantly, signed by the maker. Pwede po bang thumb mark or kiss mark? Pwede naman yan. So long as sa lahat ng pirma mo mula sa driver's license, passport hanggang sa attendance sa klase, kiss mark ang gamit mo. GG na yan kapatid, valid yan. Further, the Negotiable Instruments Law tells us that the promissory note may be payable to the bearer or to his order. Meaning kung ako ang maker ng promissory note at minsan akong nangako na babayaran ko ang 10,000 pesos sa'yo brother man or to your order, meaning kahit sinong inominate mo dyan, babayaran at babayaran ko yan. Again, unconditional promise to pay. The law also requires that payment must be made in a sum certain in money. Huwag mong i-confuse yan sa certain sum of money. Magkaiba yan. When the law says a sum certain in money, it means an amount which is defined, particular, but not necessarily exact. Kunwari kung may interest, magko-compute tayo. So we don't know the exact amount yet. Ang importante lang ay defined yung amount. When the note says I promise to pay a certain sum of money, walang definite na amount yan. Hindi yan pasok sa definition ng negotiable promissory note. At katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, there are only two kinds of instruments, the negotiable and non-negotiable. Pagpasok sa definition, it is negotiable. All other instruments are non-negotiable. Finally, the last element, the promissory note must be payable upon demand or at a fixed determinable future time. Upon demand, simple lang yan. You come to me, you give me back the promise I made, that piece of paper, or kung sinulat natin yan sa tarpaulin, and I will fulfill that promise to pay 10,000 pesos. Fixed determinable future time could mean one of two things. It can mean an exact date, let's say February 14, 2019. Hanapin mo ako sa Valentine's Day at babayaran kita based sa promissory note. Fixed determinable future time din ang 2019 NBA Finals. Hindi natin alam yung exact date pero sure naman tayo na may finals. Pwedeng Game 4 or abot ng Game 7. Fixed determinable future time din ang 30 days after the election. The election by law always falls on the second Monday of May. Fixed yan, determinable yan. Pero at the time na nagsusulat tayo, yan ang best estimate ko na kaya kitang bayaran. Another example of a certain event is the day a person dies. The promissory note can be made payable 40 days from the day a person dies. A bill of exchange follows the same requisites. It must be in writing, it must be signed by the maker. It is an unconditional order to pay a sum certain in money. And it must be payable upon demand or at a fixed determinable future time. It may be made payable to the bearer or to his order or anyone he wants to nominate. The big difference of a promissory note and a bill of exchange is that the promissory note, there are only two parties, the maker of the promise to pay and the beneficiary of that promise to pay, also called the payee or the bearer of the instrument. In a bill of exchange, there are three parties. The drawer or the person who makes the order to pay. The drawee is the recipient of this order. Siya ang inuutusan kong magbayad. The bill of exchange is given to the payee or to his order. For these reasons, the drawee or the person who is commanded to make a payment must be named in the note or can be determined with reasonable certainty. Yan ang additional element ng bill of exchange. Kung ang drawee ay isa sa mga puno ng akasya sa sunken garden ng UP Diliman, then the bill of exchange is not valid. Una, a tree is not a person. Second, he is not named with reasonable certainty. Assuming na ang mga puno pala sa Diliman ay mga ent, sino naman aber sa kanila ang dapat magbayad? He must be named with reasonable certainty. This brings me to the special kind of bill of exchange, and that is the check. A check has several parts. Sa pinakataas, you see the account name. Siya ang issuer of the check at siya rin ang drawer. The second line says, pay to the order of blank. This is the line where we write the payee of the check. Another line for the date and the amount. At sa pinakababa, you will see the name of the bank. This is the name of the drawee. Ang nag-issue ng cheque ay inaatasan ang Union Bank of the Philippines na bayaran ng 10,000 pesos si payee sa February 14, 2019. Are all of the elements of a negotiable instrument present? Yes, it is in writing. Is it signed? Siyempre, kasi isusuli ng teller sa'yo yan kapag walang pirma. Is there an amount? Yes, meron naman. Hindi tayo pwedeng hulaan na, ma'am, pa-e-encash ko po itong cheque, pero walang amount, hulaan na lang tayo magkano. Is it an unconditional order for the drawee or in this case, the bank to pay? Oo, kasi mababasa natin sa pinakababa na ang Union Bank ang dapat magbayad. Kasi naman sila rin ang nagprint at nag-issue ng papel ng cheque. Is it payable on demand or a fixed determinable future time? Yes, there is a date. Is the payee named? Yes, there is a space for the name. These elements, when taken together, tell us that the check is a bill of exchange. 40% of the problems you will find in negotiable instruments law can be solved by referring back to Section 1 of the Negotiable Instruments Law. Babalik-balikan mo lang ang elements na yan as I have discussed them for you. For easy reference, I'll be placing a link to the codal provisions of the Negotiable Instruments Law in the description below. The other 40% will come on whether or not there has been valid negotiation and who is liable to pay for the instrument. Negotiation is the process of transferring a negotiable instrument from one person to another within the parameters set by law. Halimbawa, pinautang mo ako ng 10,000 pesos para may security ka na hindi kita tatakbuhan. Para may habol ka na maliwanag, gagawa ako ng promissory note. Halimbawa, binigyan mo ako ng 10,000 pesos at kaliwaan tayo ng promissory note, which reads, for the loan I have received from you, I promise to pay the bearer the amount of 10,000 pesos on or before February 14, 2019. Signed, Lex. Kung sakaling may nakita kang sale sa Zalora ng mga mamahaling makeup brush na weird yung hugis at nangangailangan ka bigla ng cash, Meron kang promissory note na pwede mong panghawakan. Dadalhin mo ngayon yung note na yan sa classmate mong big time. Paps, need lang ng cash. Pwede bang pautang? Heto ang promissory note. Good as cash yan. Kilala mo din naman yung maker. Pero kahit 8,500 na lang yung bigay mo, sasabihin mo yan ngayon para smooth yung transaction. Si classmate now takes that note and gives you the 8,500 pesos. The note is now in the hands of the classmate. Ako, the maker of the note, ako ngayon ay liable pa din for the 10,000 pesos. Yun kasi yung original kong promise. When the classmate comes to me, I still have that promise and I still have to pay on or before February 14, 2019. This is what the law means when it says negotiation. Same principle applies for bills of exchange. Gamitin na lang natin yung earlier example. Ikaw ay bagong lipat sa condo. The lessor of the condo demands checks amounting to 18,000 pesos per month of your rent. Kung sakaling mangailangan ng cash si lessor, he can find the person who buys or rediscounts checks. Pwede siyang makakuha ng advance encashment through the rediscounter for a lesser amount, say 16,000 pesos na lang per check. That is how negotiation works. Better instruments are those promissory notes or bills that do not contain a name. Even if they have a name, the name is a non-existent or fictitious person. For example, a check is made payable to cash. This means that the check is not payable to Johnny Cash. It is payable to the holder or to the present possessor, to the bearer or holder. Bearer instruments are negotiated by mere delivery. Tulad nung halimbawa natin na pinautang mo ako ng 10,000 pesos, inabot mo lang kay big time na classmate yung promissory note. Kaliwaan kayo at binigyan kanya ng 8,500. Walang pirmahan na naganap. An order instrument, on the other hand, is one that is made payable to a specific person or to his order or anyone he wants to nominate. This nomination is done through an endorsement. The endorsement in checks is found at the back. May spaces dyan. So the next time you see a check, basahin mo rin yung likod. The endorsement is made by naming another person and then signing your name. Order instruments are negotiated by delivery, coupled with the endorsement or signature. It is always a two-step process. A bearer instrument, even if it is endorsed to another person, remains a bearer instrument. An order instrument that is negotiated in blank, walang pangalan, is converted into a bearer instrument. Pasensya na kapatid kung napapasarap yung discussion natin at salamat kung nakikinig ka pa rin. This is an important lesson for me because I failed this subject. Half of my classmates also failed and I don't want you to fail. Learn from my mistakes and you'll be fine. Within the negotiable instruments law, you will learn that negotiable instruments have two purposes. The first is that they operate as a substitute for money. The second is the accumulation of secondary contracts. This means that, to use our earlier examples, sa checks na binigay mo for the rent ng condo, the bank is the person liable if and only if the bank accepts that the check was actually issued by you, the account holder. If at the time the checks are due, yung bumili ng cheque, the rediscounter can go to the bank. If for whatever reason the bank does not pay, hahabulin ka ngayon ni rediscounter. Kung wala siyang mapiga sa'yo, ang remedy niya ay habulin yung lessor ng kondo. The more the instruments pass from hand to hand, from person to person, the higher the chances of getting paid. Maraming pipigain, maraming hahabulin. Other concepts you will later learn and will have to master include 1. Forgery, 2. Material alteration, 3. The shelter rule, 4. Personal and real defenses. Forgery happens when you leave your checkbook during your lunch break and your office mate steals one page, one piece, signs your name and uses it to pay someone else. Liable ka ba para dun? Material alteration happens when the promissory note I mentioned earlier and some blithering idiot adds 3 more zeros and makes the final amount 10 million pesos. Saang kamay naman ng Diyos ako kukuha ng 10 million pesos on or before February 14, 2019? Am I still liable for the note? If yes, how much? These are just some of the things you will love to learn under the Negotiable Instruments Law. I hope you take this subject seriously. Even better, sana alisin na sa inyo yan. Huwag nyo na sanang i-take. Kahit ang mga magulang ko hindi na gumagamit ng bill of exchange. Bank drafts na lang daw. Salamat kapatid kung inabot mo ang ending ng episode na to. Salamat din kung may napulot ka sa nego. At naway mapakinabangan mo rin in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video for good law school karma. And I will see you next Friday.